Hey guys, so I just finished watching Godzilla from 2014, brought to us by Gareth Edwards, the first in the planned Monster Universe. I've just recently seen the trailer for Godzilla King of Monsters, and it was absolutely epic. It looks amazing. The visuals in that thing have just kind of made me want to go and revisit these movies today. I'm going to watch Kong Skull Island directly after I finish doing this review. Part of the universe I just want to revisit. It's been a while. So this version of brought to us by Gareth Edwards is truly quite a spectacle. What it does lack in story, and I'll get into that in a minute, it does really make up for in visuals. Okay, cast. Bryan Cranston. This movie really does need more Bryan Cranston. He is in it for about half an hour and then he's gone, so he really is more like an extended cameo. From all the trailers that we had leading up to this movie, it seemed like he was one of the main characters and the lead through the whole film. They kind of pulled a bit of a Swiftie on us, and his character, spoiler alert, he's killed off relatively early in the piece, which really sucked because his opening scenes in this movie are just amazing stuff. So he works at a nuclear facility in Japan, and he's noticed that there is some seismic activity causing earthquakes near the facility. He realizes that through research that they're not just random events, they're actually got a pattern to it, which leads him to conclude that something big is coming. So after he and his wife, Juliette Binoche, drop off their son to school, they both head to the facility where they work together. Because of these seismic events, he sends his wife down to investigate in the lower levels. Meanwhile, there is a reactor breach due to the seismic events. The nuclear facility is destroyed, witnessed by their son at school across the bay, and through a very emotional scene with Bryan Cranston's character saying an emotional farewell to his wife, and bang, 15 years later, Monarch has taken over the facility and told everyone that it's actually a radiation zone. It's quarantined, so nobody's allowed to be in there. So for 15 long years, Brody has been suspicious of the activity going on in this place. So he wants to go back to his home and gather some of the information that he had recorded and left there on discs previously, because he's noticed that the same seismic events that have occurred that 15 years ago have reawakened, and something large is coming again, and he wants to go match up the data with his previous entries. So he heads in, promptly gets arrested, and then his son, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, Ford Brody, gets the word that his father's been arrested in Japan, so has to leave his wife, Elizabeth Olsen, playing Ellie Brody. They did team up again later on in the Avengers Age of Ultron as the brother-sister duo, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. So it is a little bit weird seeing them get romantic with each other here. So he takes off to Japan, picks up his father from the cops, where his father tells him of his plan to go back. He wants to go in and retrieve his information because he failed that first time. So they go back in, promptly caught, and this is where the story reveals to us that Monarch has indeed taken over the facility and has been monitoring this large cocoon-shaped object which has been left there from the previous incident 15 years ago. Back in 1999 in the Philippines, a mining facility uncovered a large chamber buried deep underground where the bones of a large fossilized creature were unearthed. All along the bones of this creature were fossilized parasite things hanging off of it. So one of these things actually woke up after the miners interrupted their slumber and burrowed out and headed over to Japan, went to the nuclear facility to lay its egg or cocoon itself. It's not quite clear. So Monarch has been watching these events closely since the 1950s when they had their first encounter with Godzilla. So they're prepared for any more weird sightings to happen. So when Joe and Brody get to the nuclear facility, Joe's demanding answers because his wife did indeed die in that very place years ago. He just knows that they're actually hiding something there. So these parasite creatures, these mutos, massive unidentified terrestrial organisms, are actually feeding on nuclear radiation. And they theorize that the Earth years ago, before the dinosaurs, before life inhabited the Earth, known life, that radiation was very high, and these titans, these gigantic monsters, roam the world. As the world developed, the radiation became less, so these creatures burrowed deep within the Earth where they could still find nourishment from the core of the Earth for their radiation supplement. And now they're back. From here on in, we just get spectacle. Although one of the criticisms I will lay out right away is that we do not get a lot of Godzilla in this film. Gareth Edwards has got a lot of big scene set up and then promptly cuts away from the Godzilla monster action. First time I saw this movie at the theater, I was quite betrayed by this, to be honest. First, the loss of Cranston really pissed me off. I went to this movie expecting this wonderful actor to be all the way through it.
And it is going to send us back to the Stone Age!
So when he died in the movie, I was quite, what? And then to actually not get a lot of Godzilla scenes in this movie, except for the fantastic climax. Like, for instance, there's a scene set in Hawaii. The Mutos have taken a Russian submarine because it wants the nuclear weapons on board, has gone to Honolulu to chow down. Godzilla turns up, massive tsunami hits, great special effects, and Godzilla emerges from the ocean to take down the Muto. And just as they come together, scene cuts to San Francisco, where we have the Brody family. Elle Brody, played by Elizabeth Olsen, and their young son, and he's watching a news report, and the news report is Hawaii is getting devastated, and they have a scene on the TV set of the two monsters fighting. So there's a few episodes like that through the whole film where the monsters are about to attack each other and then it'll cut away. I've seen this movie about 4 or 5 times now, so I am used to it. I know what to expect going in when I put it on, and I really find myself still quite very engaged with it. So I do forgive its flaws for what he lacks in the story, which is okay. He definitely makes up for in visuals, special effects, like I said, and just the imagery in this film is astounding. The look of Godzilla is indeed awe-inspiring. The Mutos look fantastic. These monsters are massive. This is the biggest iteration of Godzilla we've had on screen yet. And he looks beautiful, and he's traditional. He looks like the original Godzilla from the old 50s movies, not that Godzilla film from Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, starring Matthew Broderick a few years ago. That creature has been, well, it's public. So this movie is a really welcome return to form for the Godzilla creation in the Hollywood pipeline. So Seamus McGarvey is the director of photography in this one, and you've got to give the man full props. This movie is absolutely stunning. There's a scene where some of the soldiers jump out of a plane and parachute down into the city. Godzilla's in town, wrecking shit up, and they're skydiving down past him, parachuting down with red flares and red smoke flares. It's a scene they used in the trailer a fair bit, and it's just gorgeous. It really is quite stunning. This movie is crying out for 4K HDR release. It really is. I saw it on 3D a year or so ago when I put it on. Looks great in 3D. Having a choice between 3D these days, I can't really be asked, to be perfectly honest, but I do remember that was pretty sweet in the 3D. So if you do have the 3D version and you want to check it out, by all means. I didn't love it personally, but it was okay. So they are starting a whole universe. Like I said, Skull Island is the next in the series, and then Godzilla King of Monsters coming out soon, next year I think. Like I said, that trailer is just amazing, so it made me want to revisit this one today. And the action scenes in this thing are amazing. When Godzilla is taking on the Mutos in San Francisco, this thing is amazing. The visuals on a nice big screen TV, this thing is just amazing. Seeing it on the cinema screens back in the day, yeah, I was completely blown away. So that's why I can kind of forgive its flaws in regards to the screenplay and all the Godzilla teasers throughout the movie. When they do have the big smackdown at the very end, it's friggin' amazing. The scene where one of the Mutos is actually escaped from Mount Yucca, the nuclear waste management facility, and is heading towards San Fran, and shows this big beastie tearing through Las Vegas. Also some amazing imagery. I'd just been on holidays to the States a few months before this movie was released. I'd been in Las Vegas and San Fran, so it was really kind of surreal for me to be watching this movie a few months later, having just been there, seeing them getting royally destroyed. Totally cool. But only in like the movie universe, guys, not in real life. So the destruction was fun, and the cinematography was amazing, and the performances were well done. Cranston definitely was the highlight. Aaron Taylor-Johnson from Kick-Ass, kind of bland. Elizabeth Olsen always is amazing. She's definitely a great actress. And seeing her again in the Avengers movies was totally cool. She's awesome. Giving it a score out of 10. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 because it's just fun and it's true to the original vision of Godzilla, and I just love it. And let's hope that the next movies in the franchise, they just keep going with this because it's going to be amazing. Anyway, guys, thanks for checking in my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Old school man cave.